I think I want my money back.
What are you going to do, strong-arm me?
You know, I think you got the wrong impression about me. I think in all fairness, I should explain to you exactly what it is that I do. For instance, tomorrow morning I'll get up nice and early, take a walk down over to the bank and walk in and see you, and if you don't have my money for me, I'll crack your fucking head wide open in front of everybody in the bank. And just about the time that I'm coming out of jail, hopefully, you'll be coming out of your coma. And guess what? I'll split your fucking head open again. Because I'm fucking stupid. I don't give a fuck about jail. That's my business. That's what I do.
Alright, first and foremost, I want to give all infinite honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Hawakwakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And to the other Akim out here pushing his truth into the four winds. Keep pushing, Akim. We almost out of here, man. I'm going to do this video on how Sicilian Mafia are Israelites. The Sicilian Mafia are Israelites. The Mafia that you see portrayed on all of these movies and all of these different TV shows, it traces back to Israelites. All right. Now, before I bring out some clips and some scriptures, just think about this. All right. Think about how they operate. Think about how we used to operate in Israel. Think about the law, statutes, and commandments, and think about how 2/3 of our people operate over here. All right. Jake, we're very flamboyant, proud people. We like to be seen. All right. When we move, we have a charismatic swag about us. Just walking. All right. The way that we talk, the way that like just our motor functions, period. Okay, the way that you talk to people, the way that people treat one another. I'm talking about them. All right. And more importantly than that, by them coming from Sicily, what they call the old country, what they got and wasn't tarnished by the Americans or the old morals and values prior to them coming over here to America. One thing that they don't play about is dealing with another man's wife. They don't play about going against the family in public. All right. It seems like a lot of them, just like Jake today, they have nicknames. All right. Let me see what else. Just correlations. They have a temper, but by them coming from the old country and being raised by men and having those old morals or whatnot, for the most part, they don't just flash out. They don't just flash out and get emotional, but you are going to be touched. They be like, we'll deal with him later. You know what I mean? So they do have that anger, and they hate niggas. And that goes back to the scripture where it says they eyes shall be evil toward their brother. They don't even know that they're niggas. Okay? We're just going to bring some stuff out. I don't want to just keep talking. We're going to bring some stuff out. And, definitely going to get the history, because the history ties to lineage. I wouldn't be able to say what I say without the history. So we're going to take a trip to Sicily. All right, let's get it.
You're Sicilian, huh? Sicilian. You know, I read a lot, especially about things, about history. I find that shit fascinating. Here's a fact, I don't know whether you know or not. Sicilians were spawned by niggers.
Come again?
No, it's a fact. Yeah. You see, Sicilians have black blood pumping through their hearts. And no, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, you see, the Moors conquered Sicily. And the Moors are niggers. See, way back then, Sicilians were like wops from northern Italy. They all had blonde hair and blue eyes. But Moors moved in there, and well, they changed the whole country. They did so much fucking with Sicilian women, huh? That they changed the whole bloodline forever. That's why blonde hair and blue eyes became black hair and dark skin. You know, it's absolutely amazing to me to think that to this day, hundreds of years later, that Sicilians still carry that nigga gene. Now this, I'm quoting history. It's written. It's a fact. It's written.
I know this guy.
No. No. Your ancestors are niggers. Hey. Yeah. And your great grandmother fucked a nigger. Oh, yeah. And she had a half nigger kid. Now, if that's a fact, tell me, am I lying? 'Cause you're part eggplant.
All right, let me say this first. Sicily is an island right there on side of Italy, okay? And until the 1800s, that's when it finally became a part of Italy. They didn't have this big cozy relationship. Jake's, for the most part, been on that island for a long fucking time. All right, so let's deal with that. We're dealing with Sicily. From 469 AD to 535 AD, it was under the Germanic rule. All right. This is the time when the Western Empire began to fall and eventually fell. Now, when you said it Germanic rule, you're probably thinking what? Okay, so the Germans were ruling it. So if the Germans were ruling it, then those are Edomites. See, what you don't understand about the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, in these times that Esau don't like to teach about is those barbarians, so-called barbarians, the Franks, the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, and all of those are Jakes. You understand? Let me upload something real quick. You probably think I'm bluffing. All right, and this is out someone's private collection. The powers that be do not allow pictures like this to come out in public. All right, but this is a portrait of a wealthy German. All right. Now they said it could be African or Flemish, but the thing and the crux of the information is that it's common knowledge when that was painted that the Germans of those times were Jakes. All right. So from 469 to 535, the island of Sicily was ruled by Jakes in the form of Germans. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right. So from 535 to 965, it's called the Byzantine period. That's when the Byzantines ruled Sicily. All right, and you look at this old map of Sicily, it's clearly depicted as an island. It's clearly separated from Italy. Like I said, these guys were never friends like it's depicted in the movies or whatnot. Proud to be an Italian. You were not called an Italian until the 1800s. The people in Italy, the Romans, they didn't deal with y'all like that. Matter of fact, the enemies of the Romans used to go to Sicily and try to attack the Romans, man. All right, look it up. Look it up. But the Byzantines, that's the Eastern Roman Empire. All right, that's after the Western Empire fell, and it's well documented in through true historians that these were Jakes. So that's Jake ruling again on the island of Sicily, not in the form of the Germanics, this time in the form of the what? The Byzantines. All right, 535 to 965. Let's keep it moving. Okay, from 827 to 1091 is called the Arab period. Now, if you were paying attention to the previous period, the Byzantine period, you see that these periods overlaps. That's because the Byzantines, what's the remaining Byzantines that's left behind, are under the subjection of the Arabs. All right, and they kept on having Byzantine uprisings within the time that the Arabs were ruling until they were ultimately squashed and shut down. But that clip that brought this history part in, that white boy said that your grandmothers started off with blonde hair and blue eyes. According to history, by the time the Arabs got there, who he calls the Moors, they was already dark. All right, they was already dark. So, I mean, history is right here for you to grab. You reach out and you learn, and then you see who's who, what's what, who's lying. All right, so that's why these Italians are so gravitated towards like Jake's over here. All right, more than likely because of the power structures that came in and was ruling over these people. These are more than likely Southern tribe. These are more than likely Judites. Me speaking as a man, these are more than likely Judite guys that you see. The John Gottis, the Al Capones, all right, the Castellanos, and all of those. Right, these are Jakes, and you see through lineage. Through lineage, you see that these are Jakes. All right. All right. Norman Sicily, 1038 to 1198. 1038 to 1198. And the Normans, all right, let's read it. In 1038, 70 years after losing their last cities in Sicily, the Byzantines, under the Greek general George Maniakes, invaded the island together with their Varangian and Norman mercenaries. All right, so they teamed up. And keep in mind, the Byzantine lost control of the power, but it still had Byzantine Jakes there. Okay. Matter of fact, every people that was in control of the island and lost control of the island, they still had their citizens and the subjects left behind. All right, but they teamed up, the Normans with the Byzantines and the Varangians, and they took down um, these guys in 1091. Okay, they took them down in 1091. So all of these changing of hands, it keeps on going back to who? Jake. Let me read this. Governance was by rule of law, which promoted justice. Muslims, Jake. Jews, Jake. The Muslims, Jews. Byzantine Greeks. They go out the way to put Byzantine in front of the Greeks. Jakes, Lombards, Normans. They work together fairly amicable. So all of these different groups of people are all the same skin tone. They all Israelites flying different flags. They was going to fuck off, and that's why the Most High took them down again, man. All right, Esau wasn't even around, and they were still going to fuck off. All right, and the last rulers are called the Kingdom of Sicily. Not the last rulers, the last Jake rulers, the Kingdom of Sicily, and they were very powerful for a couple of hundred years or whatnot. All right, let me read this. Between the 15th and 18th centuries, waves of Greeks from the Peloponnese and Avarantes migrated to Sicily in large numbers to escape the persecution after the Ottoman conquest of the Peloponnese. They brought with them Eastern Orthodox as well as Greek and something languages to the island, once again adding onto the extensive Byzantine Greek culture. All right, let me read this. The onset of the Spanish Inquisition in 1492 led to Fernando decreeing the expulsion of all Jews from Sicily. So there you have it. That's when the Edomites came in. All right. And those guys that they call them Greeks that was running from the Ottoman Turks. The Ottoman Turks are actually Edomites. Right. You can guess who those were. But in 1492, I'm gonna have to do a video on that. But 1492 is when Jake was run out of Sicily. Okay, but he left behind all kind of DNA, and it shows. It clearly shows through their children. All right. So Jake really ran Sicily longer than people actually can imagine, man. Jake ran Sicily for a long time, and he lost Sicily at the same time. He lost Sicily around the same time, the Renaissance, the discovery of the New World. When Esau went up, he went down, man. All right, I got a little more left.
Frankie, I want to ask you something. It's private, but I want you to tell me the truth.
Of course, Remo.
I want you to tell me the truth, mind you.
I always tell you the truth, Remo.
Frankie, the little guy, he wouldn't be fucking the Jew's wife, would he? Because if he is, it's a problem.
What could I say? I knew if I gave the wrong answer, Nicky, Ginger, Ace, all of them could have wound up getting killed. Because there's one thing about these old timers. They don't like any fucking around with the other guys' wives. It's bad for business. So I lied. Even though I knew that by lying to Gaji, I could wind up getting killed too. No. I ain't seen anything like that.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Now, this is their vain, futile way of trying to be holy. And you have to also keep in mind, they was calling them the bosses. And the older guys, they don't play that. Because the older guys were taught by people that came from the island. And they weren't, like I said, they weren't fully immersed in no Edomite culture or nothing like that. Sicily was Sicily. Sicily has its own rich culture. So those teachings that the old guys were handing down to these younger guys, they came from the old world. That's what they called Sicily. And they didn't play that shit. They called them the bosses and the older guys. In Yasharala, we called them the elders. So they was like, that's a no-no. You don't fuck with another man's wife. And it's scriptural. And the penalty for fucking with another man's wife in the Mafia is what? Death. And if you lied about it and you saw it and you didn't tell, that's another scripture in the Bible. You have that man's sins and you're gonna die. Like that dude said, I knew if I lied to him, he'll kill me. If I told him the truth, he'll probably kill me because I should have told when I seen that he was sleeping with another man's wife. Okay, it's Jake now.
Was Anthony Stabile, Frankie Carbone, and then there was Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy, and his guys, Frankie the Wop, Freddie No Nose, and then there was Pete the Killer, who was Sally Balls' brother, and you had Nicky Eyes, and Mikey Francesi, and Jimmy Two Times, who got that nickname because he said everything twice, like,
I'm gonna go get the papers,
And again, as small as it might say, this is a Israelite trait. So-called Negroes, man, a lot of times you'll know a guy for 10 or 15 years and you don't even know his government name because we use nicknames. So-called Mexicans and Latinos, they use nicknames. The Gadites, the Reubenites, so-called Native Americans, they use nicknames. They use nicknames so much that they would even call their child the nickname more so than his real name. All right. So, and then the way that they get their names, you earn your names. All right. He got his name because of that. He got his name because of that. And it's just the way that the names are. They're not corny. They're not some just like no corny Edomite shit. But Edomites really don't wear nicknames. Hey, how you doing? Well, I'm Dylan. You know, that's as far as it go with them. But these are the Jake traits that you can't overlook. And you have to also realize this: when the whole world gravitates toward a certain group of people, you need to look into their lineage. Okay, you look into their lineage and go into history, and I bet you come back to an Israelite. We don't just go out there claiming groups because it seems like they have clout and people want to follow them, and it seems like they're more talented than other people. We do our history, and then we extrapolate and make judgments. All right, with that, I hope this video was edifying, and I want to give all infinite honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Howard Kwakwadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Raiden Millstone who rule and teach well, and to the other Akim out here pushing his truth into the four winds. Keep pushing Akim, Kwam Yasharala, above.